Hey everybody, Carl here again at Trail Sport Motors. Today we're going to be putting our Series 4 front diff in our 2013 RZR 900. And whether you're buying the RZR case or for the early RZRs or for the Rangers, the installations are pretty similar. This one being the 900 XP, it's going to involve a little bit more work than normal. The hardest part's going to be separating the drive shaft from the pinion shaft on the gear case, which you have to do in the machine. On the Rangers, for you folks that have the Ranger 800s and 900s, you can actually bring the drive shaft out of your machine right through the front. So we're going to walk you through step by step how to do one of these, and hopefully it'll help some of you out. So here's some of the tools you're going to need to do this job. Now this may vary a little bit depending on the machine. You're going to need a 15 millimeter, a 17 millimeter box wrench. We've got a 15 millimeter ratcheting wrench also that helps speed things up. Sockets too. You need a 1 1/16 to do your spindle nut. The big thing that's key is that you have the right size roll punch. This is a 1/4 inch drift punch to drive that roll spring out of the U-joint yoke, and we like to use a nice solid bar here to knock our A-arm ball joints out of the knuckles. So we'll have at it here and update you as we go. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do after you get your front bumper and your fascia off is you're going to disassemble your knuckles and remove your CV shafts from the gear case. Okay, now we got our shock disconnected so we can swing that upper A-arm up and out of the way. It makes it easier to disconnect the axle from the gear case. Okay. So we took a ratchet strap to tie up our shock absorber and our upper A-arm to keep that out of the way. That just helps us remove the axle on a straight pull. So to pull these CV shafts, you just give a slight push in and then a good pull out and they pop right out. Okay, we got our front end all disassembled and our CV shafts out. Now we're getting ready to drive the roll pin out of the yoke that goes on the pinion shaft of the front diff. So we want to use your 1/4 inch long drift driver, whatever you call it, to drive this out. You want to make sure it's small enough so that it can go through the pinion shaft on the diff. Go. There we go. Okay, now we're going to undo the 4 bolts that hold the front diff into the machine. Now you want to reach up inside there and unplug the wiring harness that goes to the front diff, and also disconnect your vent tube. There's just a little spring clamp on those. They're pretty easy to remove. Okay, so we've got the diff all unbolted. Now you just want to pull the drive shaft off while pulling the differential to the front of the machine and separate the two. Sometimes these can be a little stubborn, so you want to put some PB Blaster on there and loosen things up, but this one came off relatively easy. Okay, now on this machine what you're going to do is you're going to bring the differential straight up and then bring it out above the upper A-arm right through the slot, and she'll come right on out. And there she blows. Okay, so here you see the 2 gear cases that we have. This is the OEM case that came out of the machine. This is our Series 4 gear case, which is a substantial upgrade from the OEM. You can buy these on our website at trailsportmotors.com. Big difference between the two is you get a billet machine 7075 spray cage in this. that has 24 roll pins versus the 20 pins that came with your OEM case. So we're going to get this installed in the machine and then show you how to check for proper function, that it's working correctly. Okay, we dropped in the new front diff and it's sitting in the machine loosely. And what we want to do here is we want to put some marine grade grease on the splines of both the pinion shaft and the yoke. This will enable it to slide on easily and also remove the unit down the road. It'll disconnect a lot easier for you. Also, you want to be aware to make sure you line up the splines perfectly so that the holes for the roll pin will be in alignment with one another. If they're off just a tooth, you could damage the pinion shaft. So make sure you line up those holes when you go to plug it together. Okay, so we got our drive shaft slid onto the pinion and it's all aligned properly. Now we've put a little thread locker on the bolts to bolt the diff in, and you want to make sure that you use hand tools, not pneumatic tools, to put these in, because with an aluminum case they can strip very easily. So just snug them down good, but don't over torque them. The thread locker will take care of anything from them coming loose. What we're going to do now is we're going to check for proper function to make sure that everything's working like it's supposed to. Now, we did reconnect the wiring harness for the armature and the vent tube on the top of the case, so make sure you take care of that before you try this step. So what we can see is we have the machine on jack stands, the tires are off. We're going to go ahead and start the machine, and then we're going to put it in gear. Turn on our four-wheel drive, and we're just going to give it a little bit of gas, and you'll see the spline shafts turning. No splines turning there, so gear case is functioning properly. We'll shut off the motor and we're going to complete the reassembly of the machine. Okay, now that we've got everything, we know it functions properly, we're going to go ahead and put the roll pin back in through the yoke and the pinion shaft. And we're putting our CV shafts back in now. Make sure you put some of that marine grease on the splines of the gear case and the spline of the axle. It makes them pop in a little bit easier, and then the next time when you go to take them out, they're going to pull out just that much easier. So now you can see we got our CV shafts in, and the rest of the procedure is pretty simple. Just reassemble everything like you took it apart. Okay, so we've completed our installation here on our RZR, and this whole Series 4 installation, swapping it out. It took a total of about an hour and a half to 2 hours for us, but you know, we do these quite often. If you're doing it for the first time yourself, I'd allow 3 to 4 hours. And that's working at a leisurely pace. So remember, you can pick these gear cases up on our website at trailsportmotors.com. The Series 4 covers the 2011 RZRs, Rangers, on up through 2015. We do have gear cases, our Series 1 and 2 for the early RZRs, 08 through 2010. And then our Series 3 cases, which cover a range of Sportsman and Ranger models. So feel free to look us up, and thanks for watching.